Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special episode of Youth Connect. I'm Aiden.
I'm Nebras.
I'm Jeffrey.
And I'm Pete.
And welcome to our Youth Connect. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome episode of Youth Connect. But you might be wondering, why in the world are we having a Youth Connect on the Wednesday? Well, today we're going to be having a very special episode of Youth Connect, a March break special. Today is going to have me, Nebras, and Jeffrey, and including our very special guest, Puneet. It's going to be an awesome show, guys, as per usual. And for those who don't know, what in the world is Youth Connect? Youth Connect is a news, interest, entertainment show that was created during the pandemic for the community, by the community. And everyone here is advocating for abilities, and as broadcasters and entertainers, we want to be included in equal opportunities for acting, directing, writing, as artists, professionals, music, and as speakers. It's a lot of stuff, guys, but it's definitely something that we believe in, that equal opportunities is very important for us. But if you know, with Youth Connect, we always have to start off with some gaming news. All right, I am having a quick fix here. Okay, we're back. So, did you guys know that usually we have a video game news, but we have to do our March break board game of the week? Now, what is that? Well, basically a board game that I want you guys to check out that I think that you might have a little bit of fun with. And today's board game of the week is Oros. Now, what is Oros? Well, here's the story. The Wise One, immortal keeper of wisdom and knowledge, has sent demigods endowed with earth-moving power to the far reaches of humanity. In Oros, each player acts as one of these demigods. They must instruct their followers in the wisdom of the mountains through study, worship, and experience. And only in the heights of the mountains can the greatest mysteries be known. So Oros is a tile-colliding, volcano erupting, mountain-making, wisdom-gathering, action economy strategy game. Holy macaroni, that is a lot of stuff. But on individual player mats, players move their followers between action spaces, allowing them to manipulate a shared environment like a giant puzzle of plate tectonics. So basically in this game, action spaces will allow players to shift rows of land and move and collide land tiles. And you could form and erupt volcanoes. Oh my gosh. And a lot of stuff can happen on this ever-changing landscape. You can also build sacred places of study and worship on mountains. But you can also build sacred places in worshiping in sacred places brings wisdom, which is used to improve the abilities available for each action space. So basically, wisdom is also used to improve the end game value of each sacred place built as well and reach other goals worth end game points. So basically, you want to build some knowledge areas. You also want to make sure that you have enough land. And you're going to have to verse against other players to see who can build the most land tiles out of everyone. Sounds like an interesting game, and it sounds really interesting. I love the concept when two land tiles collide together and causes a volcano. Because if you guys know, when tectonic plates hit each other or are right above each other, they cause things to erupt, or they cause earthquakes, for example. And when two land tiles break, like when two parts of land crash into each other, they create a volcano. How awesome is that? So it basically kind of takes a bit of nature into it and adds a little bit of a spin, a little bit of a competitive spin. But this has been some gaming news, and I hope you guys are ready for this, because you know what? Next up is our special guest. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about our special guest. Her name is Puneet. And she is going to share some helpful ways for relaxing during the March break. And for those who don't know, who is Puneet? Puneet is an awesome member of the Super and she's always working on her communication, and she has her own business, and she is a huge advocate for change. Thank you, Puneet. I'm so excited to see what you're going to have with us.
Thank you, Aiden. Good morning, friends. My name is Puneet. I play basketball with Special Olympics. I have my own business called Sweet Creations. Today I'm going to show you some exercise. Sit comfortable and put your both hands on the thighs. First exercise, deep breathing. Deep breathing like smelling the roses and blowing the candle. I'll do it for 10 times. Four. Second exercise, shoulder up and down. It's like shoulder up, then down. I will do it for 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Third exercise, in and out. Put both hands on the back of the head, then in and out. I'll do 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Rub your palms, make it hot, and massage your face. Thank you so much. Bye for now. See you soon.
Holy macaroni. Thank you so much, Puneet. Those exercises were great and they were really easy to do. I know that everyone using a computer or perhaps maybe even traveling by car or is at school is definitely going to have those exercises to help them just feel a little bit more relaxed. So thank you so much, Puneet. And you know what, guys? Puneet did such an awesome job. So honestly, I'm just going to give her a round of applause because she just really did so awesome. Now, for our second news, it's not news. It's actually going to be something that we're going to be having later today. So I want to talk about spring, but I also want to talk about art. So what is a spring seasonal color palette? If I think of spring, I feel of warm and bright colors. So you need to have warm and bright shades like poppy red and daffodil yellow, and maybe even tangerine orange, green, and some of the neutral colors for spring, like ivory, cream, caramel, camel color, and even clear brown. Those are some colors that make you just feel a little bit more calm and relaxed because you know what? Fall is definitely that feeling of chill. But you know what? If I had to choose, I think out of every season, spring, fall, winter, and even summer, I would have to choose spring because spring is when everything comes from winter and starts growing, starts getting that beautiful greenery. And in the chat, guys, if you could say what's your favorite season, I would really love to know. So, guys, spring is the season where the natural world revives after a deep sleep and reinvigorates. And during this time, dormant plants begin to grow again and new seedlings sprout out of the ground and hibernating animals start waking. So I know that you guys are going to be so excited to paint freely because we're going to be doing some painting today. So do be ready for that. And you're going to be letting all of those winter feelings out and welcoming all of those fresh seasonal spring feelings in. But first, before we get to that, we have two more people, and our next person is Nebraska, who is bringing us some entertainment and podcast news.
Hello, everybody. How are you guys today? So, for those who don't know, my name is Nebraska Khan. I'm 22 years old and I go to Sheridan College for my BBA. And I like to watch movies and TV shows in my free time. So, now to my top story. So, my top story is about, have you been looking for a ragtag group of magical miscreants you can have some fun and maybe save the world with? Well, the new Dungeons and Dragons movie is here to fill that hole in your heart. The new campaign is recently premiered at SSXXSW, and the energy was so intense that there was fainting from some audience members. Seriously, if you're not familiar with the popular tabletop game, fear not. According to directors Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley, the film takes inspiration not only from the world of the game but also from the popular movies such as The Princess Bride, Monty Python, and The Holy Grail, The Lord of the Rings, and even Indiana Jones, as well as the heist genre. Regardless of whether you align at the chaotic evil or lawful good, you'll still need a handbook to prepare for your quest. It's time to roll for initiative, whether you want to or not. What's the campaign about? Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves follows a group of potentially honorable thieves as they attempt to rescue the land from the evil it has accidentally unleashed. They set out on a quest to defeat the evil red wizards of Thay from trying to transform their home of the Forgotten Realms into a place of the undead. Who's playing? It stars Chris Pine, Reggie Jean Page, Justice Smith, Sophia Dills, and Michelle Rodriguez, along with Hugh Grant in a villain role. In the second trailer for the film that last premiered at San Diego Comic Con last year, we can get a look at a slew of monsters and mayhem. It's got dungeons, it's got dragons, it's got a crew of rapscallions, and it certainly does take inspiration from heist films. Premiering March 31st in theaters, every chivalric fighter, magic user, and thief you know is certain to be in attendance. So I love Dungeons and Dragons. I've played the game several times with friends, and when I heard that this film was in the making a year or 2 years ago, I was so excited, and now the dream is coming true. So on like I said again, March 31st, you guys can see it in theaters, and it's just a heist movie, suspenseful mystery. It's just getting to that point of adventure. Just I'm so excited for this film. Okay, to my second story. Now, my second story is now. Before I go to my second story, I'd like to give you the fact of the day. Today's fact of the day is drum roll, please. Did you guys know that crows can recognize human faces? Yes, true. Yes, that's true. And they can also remember their entire lives. They have also been known for to leave gifts for humans. So what happened was they did a study to crows to show us, and they found out that crows can recognize humans. They can also see if a human is kind to them and not kind to them. They can also leave gifts for the kind, and I was so blown away with this fact. If you have never heard this below, comment down below. I just love this fact. To my second story. So my second story is about a podcast. So the podcast name is Jocko Podcast. So Jocko, Jocko, Jocko Podcast. So in this podcast, retired Navy SEAL officer and leadership instructor Jocko Willink interviews elite leaders and performers. You learn how to perform under pressure and with confidence and work as a part of a winning team. If you're into military strategy and history, you'll also find this one interesting, as many of the lessons Jocko teaches are based on books by military leaders of the past. So I like this podcast. Whenever I'm cooking, I'm just bored, I'm just doing my homework assignment, I listen to podcasts, and this one is really nice. It just teaches you mental focus, organization, formatting, how to do a proper assignment, just that organization, and he has been a Navy SEAL before, so he's pretty organized and pretty formatted, right? So yeah, he knows. So he just teaches you strategies that can help you if you're late with assignments, and if you just do late homework, he can teach you how to focus and finish the job. So now, and that's all from me. As always, this is Nebraska from Youth Connect. I'll see you all next week. Thank you. Take care. Back to you. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Awesome job, Nebraska. Thank you so much for your entertainment news. And you know what? I just want to talk about quickly, guys. You know how we were talking about before that we were talking about the spring palettes? Now, after Youth Connect, we're going to be having a paint night. So I want you to make sure, or sorry, we're going to have oh my gosh, I think that it's night. We're going to have a paint day and we're going to be painting an awesome spring painting. So if you can, after you get your stuff, and after you've watched the show, or even if you're doing it right now, I want you to get your paintbrushes. I want you to get your spring color palettes. And I really want you guys to get ready for this awesome paint day after the show. I apologize, guys. My brain thinks it's nighttime. Let me look outside real quick. Might be nighttime. Might be the evening. No, it's the morning. But seriously, guys, thank you so much, Nebraska. It's awesome to hear entertainment podcast news. And thank you so much for showing up today. Because you know what? It's not our usual Friday. It's a little bit different. So thank you for putting a little bit of your time into today. I really appreciate it. Anyways, though, get your palettes ready, get your paintbrushes. But before we paint, we have to do our live music with our live musician, Jeffrey.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jeffrey. I am Youth Connect's live musician. I play music at the end of every Youth Connect episode, and music's been a huge part of my life, and also really calms me down. It calmed me down when I was in the hospital for so many years, and it really helped change my life. So now I'm into music. Now I'm a musician now. So I'm gonna be performing an original song that was created by Aiden and myself, and it's called "Cookie, I Love You." So if you like cookies, this song's for you. Just gotta say when you look at me in that special way, I love you, smell you, feel you in my mouth. I love you, cookie, I truly do. No one will have my heart as you do. Let me count you 1, 2. Feel my anticipation 3, 4. I'm planning more 5, 6. I love the next 7, 8. Love is real. It definitely fades. Cookie, I love you. Cookie, you're so true. Cookie, multiply my feelings for you. Your purple bites get my blood thumping. So center gets my hips up bumping, yeah. My tongue remembers your sweet taste. My brain screams, this is a race. I got to my face. Let me dunk you 1, 2. Feel my anticipation 3, 4. I'm planning more 5, 6. Love the mix 7, 8. The love is real. It's there's no rush. Cookie, I truly love you till you are all mush. Cookie, I love you. Wonderful bites get my blood thumping. It's our center gets my hips a bumping. Yeah. My tongue remembers your sweet taste. My brain screams, this is a race. I got to feel my face. Let me down to 1, 2. Feel my anticipation 3, 4. Planning more 5, 6. I love the mix 7, 8. Love is real. It definitely stays. What's up? There's no rush. Cookie, I truly love you till you are a mush. Cookie, I love you. Thank you, everybody. This is Jeffrey, your live musician, and let's went back to you, Aiden. Bye, everybody.
Holy macaroni, guys. I love Cookie, I Love You because it's a song about cookies. And who doesn't love cookies? Because I know that I love cookies, and I bet a lot of you guys love cookies. And you know what, Jeffrey? Amazing music as per usual, guys. If you ever want to see Jeffrey sing every other song, make sure to check out Jeffrey's website at jeffreyankerman.com, I think. Yes, jeffreyankerman.com. And you know what? Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Puneet. Thank you so much, Nebraska. And thank you so much, Jeffrey. Honestly, guys, you did absolutely fantastic. And I hope that you enjoyed this segment of Youth Connect. Now, I just want to say, because obviously we're going to just be doing our paint afterwards, I'm going to say thank you so much, guys. And I'm going to say goodbye to Puneet and goodbye to Nebraska and goodbye to Jeffrey. Thank you guys so much for putting a little bit of time into your day. And I really hope that we will get to see Puneet in another episode of Youth Connect because it would be awesome to see her once again. Mm-hmm. Anyways, goodbye, guys. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. As we slowly have less people go through, we're going to slowly get into our art segment. Ouch. We actually have another guest with us today. What? We have 2 guests? Well, yes, we do. Our second guest is Miss or Dr. Margot Shuttleworth.
Hi, Aiden. Always love to see you. Thank you so much for allowing us to come today.
Of course, absolutely. You know what? It's always great to have you. And you know what? It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a paint day all about the feeling of spring. So
again, I really appreciate.
Oh, wait, sorry. You should go. You go right ahead. Sorry.
I really love for you kind of to give a little bit of background. So really, when you were talking with your Youth Connect, all the different people there, they were all talking about different tools that have helped them, like particularly Jeffrey, how he spoke of how music has been a real great sort of outlet to help him get through some of the struggles in his life. And I know you've come in on numerous times to speak to my students at Brock. And that's what we're doing right now. So really, if you want to give some background as to how you got to where you are today.
So, oh man, that's a bit of a tough one. Let me just say it was a steep climb. But hi everyone. For those who don't know who I am, which probably a few people, my name is Aiden Lee. I am 19 years old, and I've been living with autism, ADHD, and anxiety since the day I was born. For me, I was somebody who kind of was and I always say this, that I was not the most common kid that you would see. I was a very odd person. I was the black sheep out of everybody. But you know what? I tried my very best to fit. But you know what? Sometimes you just can't. And you know what? We create, well, for example, the environment that we're in right now is an environment that has been implemented into a lot of schools that I've been seeing, about having all accepting all of this. My whole thing is that, when I was younger, I didn't really have the best childhood, because people didn't understand what I had, why I acted like that, why I was different. And I've been noticing recently that people have been really have been talking about it, because you know what, there's always this thing where people have, like, this one way of seeing people with disabilities, for example. And honestly, I've been very grateful to have this whole stigma, or what is it? What's the term? You know what? We're rewriting the definition of having a disability. It's not being one thing. It's you know what I always say? It's like a tree. If you think about a tree, there's the basis of autism, yes, but then there's branches of autism. There's high functioning autism, low functioning. There's different types. There's ADHD. Disability isn't just just autism, just ADHD. Sometimes the branch might have autism and ADHD. Mine's autism, ADHD, and anxiety, which is what I call AAA. But you know what? I was just somebody who has been trying to reach the message with a lot of people about, being all accepting. If somebody's acting a little bit different in your class, don't think of them as weird. Think of them as that they might just need an extra bit of hands. They might need some more friends. You never know. And I'm a big person of positive change, and that's something I deeply believe in. Oh, and also, obviously, I teach that through the power of art.
So again, I know that our focus today is really on how you have used art in classrooms with students to give them sort of ideas as to how to help express themselves. And I know you're doing an art day. So before you start, do you want to kind of talk about how art is used? And I'm going to encourage, if there are people from Brock who do have questions, if you pop them into the chat, I can see all the questions and I can ask Aiden specifically. So yeah, if you could just give an idea.
Well. Oh wait, sorry. We keep talking. We're very big talkers. Go right ahead, Ms. Merkel.
So just again, so I know you're going to do some art right now with our teacher candidates, and as well as whoever else is online, which is wonderful. But can you really talk about how you found art helpful?
So specifically for art, so when I was younger, actually from the day I was born, I really had a rough time speaking. I didn't have verbal communication until I was about 5 or 6 years old. So during that time, I needed to find a way to express how I felt. And one of the best ways was through art, because you know what? The best thing about art is that there's ways that you don't have to do it in one specific way. There's many different styles of art and many different types of art that makes it a little bit more diverse. And diversity is always something that's really helpful. But really important is that I could throw my emotions about the day. Like if I was feeling stressed out or something, I would then, paint my feelings and just feel a little bit better by the end of it. And using that till even now, I use it as a way of communication, because art is that form of communication in the brain. Everybody has that ability to talk about how they feel, not verbally, but sometimes they can express it through the way they paint. A lot of people say, Miss Margot, have you ever heard the term, or have you ever heard that emotions are also linked to color? Yeah, so usually
Yes.
when they have that feeling of emotions linked to color, sometimes when you do in art class and people paint a very dark painting, you could ask them, "Hey, it seems like you might be feeling a little bit down. Are you okay?" And it starts that conversation. It lets the I always say it like this, that it throws the emotions onto the canvas, and instead of throwing it on another person, you throw it onto the canvas. So that way you're not hurting anybody. You're expressing yourself in a positive and healthy way. That's the message I try to share with people in the schools, with the people that I'm talking to right now. Today our art is all going to be about expressing how you feel.
Great. So now I'm just going to pass it over to you, Aiden, and off you go. I'll let you do what you do so well, and lead the activity that we're going to do today. Thank you so much again.
All right. So hold on one second. Now, guys, do know I do have a bit of anxiety and a little bit of some memory problems. So I have a little bit of I just need my iPad here just for some keynotes. Or yeah. So what are we focusing on today? We're going to be focusing on spring, if you've heard from the beginning. We love spring because spring brings in the new fresh feeling. Because guys, have you ever needed to just have that little bit of brightness to a day? Well, having a little bit of the spring feeling, like I would say, for example, guys, my favorite thing about spring is the color green. You know why? Because it's the green sprouts coming out of the ground and growing. It's that feeling of growth. And I want to ask everyone right now, if you can say in the chat or type in the chat, can you guys tell me what is your spring color? If you had to choose a spring color, what would it be? Because mine's green. I feel like mine's green. Or even if you can, Miss Margot, what would be your spring color? Oh, if you want to type in the chat as well, that's fine. But you know what? I always feel like green, because you know what? Green and yellow, the bright sun and the fresh green colors. Okay, let me see here. I got pink for Miss Margot. That's a great color to choose for. Anybody else? Anybody else? Oh, we also got a pink. I could see pink. Be like fresh flowers. I could see that. I could see that. Another great color would be like, let's say, I don't know, maybe blue, or maybe a bit of red, or maybe a bit of orange. Puneet says pink or red. I can see that. I can see that. Let's see here. I'm looking. Oh, maybe yellow, like flowers in the sun. I like that. Yeah, some yellow daffodils. Or you know what's in spring? Oh man, those scary yellow dandelions. Oh man, that's when they start growing again. That's scary. Pink blossoms and green. A close second is purple. I could see purple in a springtime painting. Green for you too. You know what? I love that green. Green is just that little bit of life. You always need that. So guys, today we're going to be creating something related to spring. And when we create something to spring, we're gonna focus all about emotions. So guys, I want you to take emotions about how you're feeling and also the feeling of spring. If you guys are not feeling like it's a spring day, that is okay. You don't need to have a spring feeling. You can have a little bit of a darker spring. It might be a little bit of a cloudy day. And guess what, guys? It still rains during spring. So honestly, if you need it to be a little bit darker, that's fine. But it's all about emotions. It could be frustration. It could be happiness. It could be sadness. It could be distress. It could be a little bit of anxiety. I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety, but I'm also feeling a little bit happy. It's a combo of the two. But you know what? It's that feeling that we're going to create something awesome today. So I want you guys to, if you guys don't have paint, because I have paint, But if you don't have paint, that's okay. You can use your pencils, paper, your crayons. You can get whatever you have ready. But you know what? The first thing first, I want you guys to get a little bit of black. We're going to start off with the feeling of black. So let me get ready, okay? Let's zoom out a little bit, okay? So that feeling of black. So you know what, guys? We're focusing on that emotion. I'm going to draw my anxiety. That's the first part that I need to do. So guys, for you, I want you to also choose your color of anxiety. And I'm going to do nice and bright lines. Or no, I'm going to do, because anxiety is not really bright. It's kind of condensed. And you know what also is condensed? I think the feeling or the color black is the first color we will use. But you could choose, guys. So what am I going to do? So I'm going to add some lines. Are they going to be completely attached on one giant line? No, I'm going to make lots of detached lines. Free lines. More organic shapes. So I'm going to go here. Woo! I got a bit too excited there, guys. And look, guys, you could see that as you're doing these lines, you're going to see some shapes start to form. A little bit of shapes. So, you know what? And when you think you have enough shapes, you got to stop because you don't want to make too many. And make sure, guys, that you know what, you can have some other shapes. Like, for example, maybe I want like a sphere shape. Or maybe I just want like a diamond. You see that diamond shape right there? You know what? You can see a little bit of a sphere right here. There we go. There we go. Maybe a shape like that. A diamond kind of shape. All right, all right. And guys, you know what's a feeling of spring? You know what? If you look at the trees outside, they start budding. And you know what happens after buds? Some fresh leaves. So maybe I'll get some leaf designs in here. Look, there's a leaf. Here's a leaf right there. Maybe I see a leaf over here. There's a leaf. There's another leaf. And we start connecting some shapes. We're getting that feeling of spring in there. All right, all right. It's coming together. I'm seeing it, I'm seeing it. And maybe we want this like giant sphere of a leaf. And guys, this is how I start. This is how I'm going to start beginning with our piece. Because you know what? It doesn't have to be exactly. You don't have to follow exactly how I do it. But this is how I start. It's just I'm letting that anxiety out. And you know what? I am feeling a little bit less anxious now because I'm painting or I'm drawing my anxiety a little bit out. I'm drawing it out. So guys, how is yours coming along? Are you guys getting that feeling of anxiety out? Are you getting that little bit of getting that feeling of stress, whatever negative emotion you're feeling? Did you get it out into your painting? Because I really need to know, because you know what? It's always great to hear if you got that feeling out. Because I feel so much better that I got it out. And you know what? I'm feeling really pumped up. I'm ready to rumble. So guys, let's talk about palettes, specifically our spring palette. Now, let's see if we can get a zoom in on here. Here, let me put it on the table so you can just take a shot of them. So guys, what we have here is my basis of my spring colors. Now, if you notice, there's always 2 to 3 shades of a single color on it. So you got dark green, lime green, yellow, a little bit of a ambrosia yellow. Then you got red, orange, pink, and then blue, and then a little bit of an aquamarine color. And as all paintings need, you always have white and you always have black because those are the 2 main shade colors. So what are we going to start with first? I think that I need to start off with my first spring color. Now, guys, remember how you said that, oh, I think it might be pink. I think it might be purple. Guess what? Get out your pink, get out your purple, and get out your green. I want you to choose your first spring color. And mine, obviously, guys, if you heard when I said in the beginning, I think that my spring color always has to start off with green. So I'm going to get some green. I'm going to get a little bit of water, a little bit of green. And I'm going to start by bringing my green into my piece. So, and guys, don't be scared if you need to go over your color, because guess what? It's okay to go over a color. Oh no, I'm going over my black. Don't worry. Don't take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, and you know what? Just breathe, because guess what? We're going to have to go over it anyways. We're going to start pulling in this green. Let me get a thick glob of green so I can get it on the painting. And guys, make sure once you do the bottom, make sure that you get the underneath of your painting. You always want to work on the bottom painting part of the painting as well. And guys, during this time, I want you to take a breath, and think of life as you paint. I'm thinking about life. I'm thinking life has been a lot of fun these past few days. I've been feeling a little bit more excited. My life's going pretty good. And I'm going to paint those awesome feelings of life onto my page. And guys, if you are working on canvas, make sure that you paint the sides of your painting. Always. Feeling it now. Now coming on this side. I'm getting that green in. And you can see some areas are lighter and some areas are darker. This area over here, for example, is really dark. Getting my edges done. Get a little bit more green. Okay, got my green. Might take it up in some areas, so like this one's a little bit higher. And maybe this area is a little bit higher as well. And you know what, guys? Even though I'm feeling this happy feeling, you know what? It might have a little bit of a dark thought. So, you know what? In one of my corners, I'm going to add a little bit of this dark green. All right. Maybe in this corner, I'm going to do just a little bit of this dark green. I'm just going to like, ooh, here it comes. Whoa. Oh no, I'm feeling that dark feeling, guys. Oh man, it feels very overwhelming. And it kind of goes into my normal feelings, my feelings of spring. Just going in, it broods in my mind, in the corner of my mind, guys. Oh, and you know what? Sometimes our feelings do mix. And is that bad in a way? No, not really. It's just something that happens. Sometimes you might feel angry, but then it might mix into a sadness, or it might mix into a dark feeling. It just depends. Okay, so guys, now that we've gotten that, maybe I'm going to work. So guys, I'm going to wash my brush real quick. And I'm going to start to move upwards. I'm going to start to add yellow. Or you know what? I might need to add some white. So I'm adding, basically guys, I'm adding white to my green when we get halfway. So are we halfway? We're not halfway. So you know what we're going to need to do? We're going to need to get a fat blob of green. And we're going to have to make that waypoint. There's our halfway point right there. So we're going to have to, whoa. Going to have to really get that paint on. Whoa, it's going all over the place. Now we can make some dark areas. Oh. And guys, what's really important, guys, is that you know what? You don't need to cover every single shape. Sometimes you might need to go around a shape. Like, for example, I don't want to cover this beautiful oval right here. So I might go around the shapes. And you know what? That gives me an idea, guys. Now I might take a wet cloth and I might start to go over the shapes that we've gone. Might need to bring back some of the shapes. So maybe I'm going to take this shape right here. And I'm going to just gently take off that green. Make it a little bit lighter, you know. I shouldn't have gone over it in the first place, but you know what? I was really in the feeling of spring. And guys, just like in life, we need to wipe away, guys. We need to wipe away that feeling. Because you know what? Sometimes we might go over something and then we have to come back and we might need to wipe it. That's what we're doing right now. We're wiping away a little bit of that green. I'm going to get a little bit of more water. Just a touch. I'll wipe away. Now, it's not perfect, obviously, but you know what? You start getting those shapes out. Like here, I really like this oval shape, so I might get it out. You know what? I really like this shape right over here, so I might wipe a little bit away so that I can do something with it later. But now, guys, now we know, maybe some shapes we don't want to cover. Sometimes we might need to go around those shapes because we can't cover all the shapes. So now, guys, we've reached our halfway mark. And you know what we have to do? We have to work on that white. So we might get a white, and we can't go completely white. So I'm going to grab a little bit of white and a little bit of green. And you know what we need to do, guys? We need to do the magical word, which is blending. So starting from here, you guys could see, we can't go pure white, but what we could do is that we can go white into green. So I'm going to take my white. Look, I'm going to blend it down. I'm putting it down. I'm going to keep this shape. So I'm going to go around it. And look, guys, here it comes. Whoa! I'm blending in that white. And maybe I like this shape, so I don't want to cover that shape. Take a little bit more white. Start blending in. And let's say, oh no, my green isn't going enough. That's okay. Add a little bit of green and pull it down. You see this green? I'm pulling it down. I want to keep the shape. I want to keep this shape. I want to keep that shape. So I'm going to make sure not to cover it all. Okay, good note. I will not be covering all the shapes. I'll only be covering some of the shapes. And guys, we're going to just keep building up and up and up and up until we go pure white. Or you know what? I feel like it should be a little bit of a light green. Take it down a bit. Keep that shape out. Grab more white, a little bit of green. Mix it together and start pulling upwards. Whoa. Might be a bit too green. So you know what? I'm going around it. I want to keep this shape, and that shape. And this shape, this shape, this shape, and maybe even this shape. I'm going to keep all these shapes in my mind. Okay, adding those shapes later. But for now, I'm just going to keep bringing it up. Keep bringing it up, guys. Up, up, up. Up, up, up. Whoa. Hold on. We might have a camera change. Camera change real quick. And guys, how's it going? Are you bringing it up? And guys, this is where when we get to this point, guys, we stop adding green and we just use the green that we have and we just keep bringing it up. Keep bringing up that green. Get more white. Grab that green. Bring it up. Up, up, up. Going around, getting into the crevices, and pulling it downward so it blends nicely. Blend, 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 blend. Add a bit on the top because obviously we have to blend. And you know what? Okay, wait. Just a little bit more. Keep going. Phew. Guys, are you feeling your emotions being drained out? I'm feeling not anxious at all anymore. I'm really feeling it. Really feeling it now. Oh. Okay, guys. So how is it going? You got your green. Is it in there? I'm looking. I got a painting of bolts. Oh, thank you. And guys, you know what's really interesting, guys? I'll tell you a little bit fun fact about myself, guys. Did you guys know as I paint, when I'm feeling into it, my hair goes straight up like this. But once I have my emotions out, my hair will go like this. The more intense the feelings get, the more my hair droops. It's so cool, but so weird. It's like I have a superpower. My hair is a superpower. Okay, so we have the shapes. Now, here is the main question. What in the world do we do with these shapes? Well, let's just take a moment to appreciate what we have. So, look, guys, we have green, we have dark green, we have a little bit of this light lime green, and you guys can see that it's a gradient and it's organic feeling. I really feel the feeling of spring. You know what? It definitely has a little bit of spring in there. Ah, you know what? Somebody's feeling a little bit tired. You know what? Some good things is getting your sleep schedule in order sometimes. You know what? Sometimes some people stay up a little bit late because I know some people in this chat right now stay up a little bit later than they should. But you know what? It's great that because I'm feeling tired as well. I feel emotionally, I'm getting all of my emotions. All of my emotions, they're being stolen by the painting. But you know what? It feels better. And guys, for you, while you're painting, what do you feel? How do you feel when you are while you're creating? Are you feeling drained? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling calm? For me, I'm feeling a little bit drained. See it? I'm looking. Yeah, I know the gradient is my favorite part. When a painting has a beautiful gradient, guys, that's when the painting starts to become something awesome. Okay, DJ says that he feels happy. I like that, you know. Who else was calm? I love that. I can see that. You know what? One feeling that I feel is that I feel inspired. You know what? Green feels lively. I agree on that. You know what? It adds that little bit of pop to it. And you always need to have that little pop of color. So, now what is our next step? Well, guys, get ready because we're going to start doing some color. This is where you start bringing in those bright colors of spring. So, guys, with the shapes that you kept empty, here, 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 and here, and here, and here, and here, this is where you start bringing in that bright colors. So, guys, if you had to choose some bright colors for spring, what would it be? Because I remember I heard that Miss Margot wants to do some pink, and her close second would be purple. So that means I would start working with some purple. I would feel a little bit of maybe like some blue, maybe a bright yellow, an orange, a red. This is where we start getting it. Yeah. Pink is awesome. Pink's an awesome color. Teal, maybe a bit of orange. Okay. Since everybody's asking for it, I'll start off with some pink. Now, where will we add this pink? So, guys, I'm going to look at my shapes, and I'm going to move with my shapes. So, let's take the shape, for example. I'm going to follow the inside. Oh, and I'm curving around, and I'm pulling straight up. And, you know, it's not bad. It's not bad. But you know what it can have? Guys, now that I'm going to go, guys, here's the thing. Maybe your outline is a bit too perfect. Might be a bit too perfect. I'm gonna go in the areas where I don't have any. And I'm gonna start bringing in this like darker area. See, more paint represents more darker area. And you could see, oh, you see how there's like too much white in that area? Maybe my shape will become a bit more organic. So I'm gonna bring it down a bit. I'm gonna bring it down a bit. Maybe I'll bring it out a bit like this. And it gets that like weird shape. Or if I need to, maybe for the next one, because obviously, guys, you can't have just one shape that's pink. Maybe I'm going to use my finger. And I'm just going to drag it in the shape of the thing. Maybe I need a little bit more. Grab a little bit more pink. Drag it in the shape. Looks a bit strange, but you know, this is where we start developing those shapes. Now, maybe I'm going to take my cloth here, and I might need to take some of the paint away. So maybe a little bit less pink here. Now, may look a bit strange, guys, because Devin looks a little bit strange to me. But you know what? You just gotta put those shapes on. See, guys, now that I've applied those two shapes right there, the two pinks, maybe I'm gonna start creating like some petals, some pink petals. Maybe I'll have a pink petal over here, just like a pink petal. And maybe I'll have a pink petal over here and a pink petal over here. You never know. Maybe I'm going to switch to a new color. Maybe I'll work on this aquamarine. And I'm going to get this big shape. I'm going to start taking the aquamarine in. It's not bad. It's not bad. But maybe I want to add like a whirlpool effect. So I might add like a little bit lighter here and a little bit lighter there. Kind of gets this whirlpool effect. And I got to keep moving, keep moving. You know what I can do, guys? Maybe with this blue, because I really like this blue, I'll thinly place it on my brush. And maybe I'll pull it down. So I get this, maybe this weird effect. And you know what? I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna start getting those weird shapes now. I'm gonna maybe go with this weird one. I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna go down. Up and around. Up and around and out of it. So it adds this like weird shape. Might need to use a brush. And I'm going to start getting those shapes. And maybe I'm going to get you know what? Maybe this triangle shape. Get those shapes in. And I'm going to have to keep moving, keep adding more shapes. So maybe I'm going to take this blue, take this vibrant blue, and I'm going to just start applying it on. I'm just going to, you know what, guys? You know what? I think I'm taking a little bit too much time here. I'm going with the shape. I'm going to go with the shape. I'm taking too much time. So I got to add, if I add one blue there, I need to add another blue over here. So maybe I'll add a blue like right here. Or, you know what? I'm going to have to look at this for a second. There's this nice, beautiful round shape there, which is not bad. But we just got to keep adding. Maybe something in here. So maybe get a little bit of that green, get it in that shape. Get this very organic looking shape here. Really weird. And I'm going to keep adding. I think I'm moving a bit too slow. What are you guys doing? What kind of colors are you adding into your shapes? I think that next is going to be this beautiful yellow. Oh, it's a bit weird. And maybe a small one right here. I don't want too much yellow. And maybe this is where I start getting my smaller brush, and I'm just going to start bringing in some random petals of my already existing colors. So I'm going to take maybe maybe the orange, for example. I'm just going to add some petals here. And it's kind of like a leaf shape. So I'm going to add a leaf shape over here. And maybe I'm going to add a leaf shape over here. Maybe I just want to define the shape a little bit more. You know what? I think I need to add just like random streaks. Maybe I just have to keep adding more shapes. Whew. Getting a little bit nervous here. Maybe I think that this is where I need to start getting that more unique design. Maybe over here, I'm going to start adding that weird one. I'm going to start adding these weird shapes. So maybe over here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to get my palette here. And I'm going to get my yellow that I was working with. Might just add just a shape, just a weird shape. And maybe just like something going in between. Maybe I'll follow this line going outward, moving into that orange, connecting in between. Maybe I need to start adding some lime green in between. Maybe I feel like this is a bit too dull, so I'm just gonna keep adding. It's coming along. It's building. We're still working on it. And guys, can you guys see some spring? Because I'm starting to see some bright colors. I know it seems weird at first because half of the shapes aren't finished, but we're working on those shapes. We're going to work on another green, for example. We're going to bring it down. Just going to bring it out a bit more because it's a little bit stubbed on the end. And you know what? I'm going to bring a little bit more lime green a bit higher. I'm going to bring it like maybe just like a dash here. Oh. I don't know how much time you guys have, but you know what? So guys, how is everything developing, guys? Are you starting to add that shape? Starting to get it along? Is it coming along? I'm looking at mine. Mine's developing not bad. Now, Miss Margot, I gotta ask, are you creating with us? And how are you doing? And is the time okay? Can we continue to keep going?
I'm going to guess that the teacher candidates might be starting to thinking about moving on to something. So I'm just wondering, I see there are a few that have been adding to the chat, but there have been no questions. So I didn't know if anybody out there had some questions that you might want to ask Aiden as he's painting along.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, go right ahead. I would be more than glad to answer them.
And again, I'm going to send a note out to my groups, but part of what they have to do, Aiden, from watching what you've done, they've had a choice of different webinars to go to. And what I am encouraging them to think about is not only about how art is being used as a tool, but also your Youth Connect podcast and how great that is as another opportunity to use in classrooms with your students. So those are kind of two avenues I'm wanting you to think about. But if there are any questions, I would love to see some in the chat.
See, Chloe says that they have a lot of cool triangles and rectangles in theirs. But guys, Miss Margot's saying if you guys have any questions, make sure to type them into the chat so that, because you know what, it's I'm gonna keep creating. I'm gonna keep creating this, and you know what, this is definitely not one thing, guys. This is the first edit. I still need to add the outlines. I still need to add more shapes into it because this is the first layer. This is gonna definitely take, I would say like 2 weeks, or maybe I would say like a week and a half was constant work on it. But you know
So
what,
we
guys?
do have
Art takes time and effort, guys. So keep painting, keep creating. Also, yes, Ms. Margot? Oh,
yes, we have a question from Chloe. So she asks, did you find it more beneficial to use guided art where you're following along to someone else, or do you like it better just to be able to freely create?
I'm a big abstract artist, and I like creatively feeling something. I don't like following something from an exact image, but the thing is that I also love being inspired by things. So like if I have nature, I like for example a tree, for example, or maybe today I took pictures of spring. I got inspired by the feeling of spring and the feeling of flowers and the growth of plants, and I kind of get that feeling. I don't really follow somebody and do like I follow somebody exactly on point, because you know what? It's not fun to do exactly on point. Do it exactly like someone else. I don't like following. I like creating freely, creating something that's from the mind. And for even when we're doing this art right now, none of our art pieces are going to be exactly the same. We're not following an exact tutorial. I'm more giving you the feeling of spring, because remember, guys, your starting color for your piece, a lot of people were spring, and a lot of it was pink. Mine starting color was green. Your starting color might be pink. Somebody else's might be red. Somebody else's might be yellow. I like that feeling of being able to freely create something without being, you don't need to follow exactly one way of doing it. Everyone is unique. Every single piece that somebody creates is different, and that uniqueness is something that I love tackling, because you don't want to create something that's entirely exactly the same as somebody right beside you. Because if you think of everybody in your class, for example, I could say it's my mom and dad. I don't look like my mom, but I look somewhat like my dad, but not entirely like my dad. We're always different, unique, a little bit. It might follow something, but it's always different. Also, I see more questions.
Yeah, there's lots of questions now, Aiden. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. So Nadia asked, are there other strategies or tools that you use other than art to help you in your communications? I'm going to say.
Of course. I, as much as I do love being an artist, I also love, here's the thing. I'm not the type of artist to be like, oh, I only do art. I love doing woodworking. I love working with wax. I love working with music. I've been really dabbling into the music arts. I also love, whenever I'm feeling a little bit stressed, my strategy sometimes is to play a video game. It's just the ways that you think can help you. It doesn't always have to be art. It could be dancing, it could be baking, it could be that. But you know what? It's the best strategy to deal with a negative emotions is doing the things that you love. One of my friends actually recently was dealing with being excluded in a friend group, and he felt really down. And I shared with him that instead of focusing on the negative, being like, oh, I keep thinking about being left out, maybe sometimes you need to do something on your own. Just do something for fun. I during the time I said, why not just forget about being left behind? Because guess what? You're part of our friend group. So that's something that you should remember. And then he feels better, because if you focus on the negative while being in a positive environment, you're kind of only focusing on the negative. But once you be like, oh wait, there are people that still want to be friends with me, or there are things that I can do to make myself feel better. Don't paint while you're thinking of it at the time. Or if you're painting, for example, please do. But if you're going to create, like, let's say baking, you don't want to put that negativity into that baking. Or if you're doing dancing, you want to put that really fast motions to make yourself feel better. But if you're doing painting is your way of getting those emotions out, because at the end you're going to feel emotionally drained, because you're throwing that dark color onto that canvas. You're adding that darkness into it. You know what? You're leveling out that emotional feeling. You're kind of like balancing the scale, as I say.
Awesome. So we have a couple other questions, Aiden.
Sure.
Christina asks, at what age did you realize that painting was a good way for you to let out your emotions? Was there someone who encouraged you to do this, or did you figure it out by yourself?
Okay, well, if you heard from my previous story, when I was younger, I couldn't speak. So it was not really, well, think of it like this. A 3-year-old's not going to figure out entirely on his own. There's too much going on. And in my brain, there was so much going on, so much emotion, so much power, that, I was so overwhelmed. Like, I would jump around, get too excited, bounce around. I couldn't figure it out. So obviously, with the help of my mother, she also helped me she was the one who first brought me into art, because she said that maybe this will help him feel a little bit better. And trust you me, I felt that slash, that passion, that little bit of power into each stroke that I do. And at the end of it, I felt more better. And actually, the reason why I was able to speak is that I wasn't so overwhelmed by so much emotion. All my emotion was thrown onto the canvas. So all that feeling of stress and anxiety and all of it, it just felt better. So honestly, it was about the age of 3 to 4 when I started painting, like, regularly.
Nice. And then there's one last question from Felicia, which is, do you like to paint with your friends or alone, and why?
Now, here's the thing. When I create a painting, I always love creating by myself, but it's also important that I always say it like this. My side of the painting may be awesome, but it's also great to have different perspectives of how people see the art. This is how sometimes I get different perspectives on the painting. Like, oh, I like the painting and all, but it could have a little bit of this because I see this. And I'm like, and then I look at it from their perspective. I'm like, oh, it does look a little bit like that. Might need to change it a bit. Having different people's perspectives sometimes changes the painting's outlook. And you know what? It also helps me as an artist to learn, oh, what do people like? What are the types of techniques and what are the styles that people prefer? But usually I work in layers. So Sometimes the first layer might be solo. Right now, I'm going to be solo. Then the second, right now, guys, this is like beta layer. This is the first layer of the painting. And then the second layer is going to have more shapes and more color. It's like a cake, guys. You know how a cake isn't just one layered cake? People prefer multiple layers. You need to add more depth to it. Having layers adds that depth. And sometimes in between the layers, I might have some assistance from others, might have some different perspectives. Sometimes I might ask my mom, "Hey mom, what is your perspective on this painting?" And she might be like, I like the colors, but maybe you could add a bit of this." I'm like, maybe I'll add a little bit of what she says, a little bit of color in there. Or I'll ask my sister what her thoughts on it are, and she'll tell me her thoughts. I'm like, okay, in the next layer, I'm going to add a little bit different. It's kind of like a flip-flop. Community is important, and communication is very important, because painting's my way of communicating how I feel. It helps me communicate.
Awesome. Thank you, Aiden. So I think those are all the questions. And I know, you know what we would love, Aiden, if when you're finished your picture, can you send me a picture so I can share it with the people who come to watch you today?
Of course. Now, guys, there's going to be a lot of development towards it. There's going to be more lines, more shape, more color, more lights, more darkness. It's going to have a lot more. So, guys, it may look very empty at first, guys, but if you think of any painting, it always starts off with the outlines and then gets built up from there. It's going to be way more developed. It's going to have way more. It's going to have way more thoughts on it. It has to develop like people and the people, especially if you're learning about something. Did you guys know when you learn something new, you start to develop a neuron in the brain? When you learn something, you're developing your brain. You're developing yourself. You're adding character to yourself, guys. When you learn something that you probably didn't know about, or you thought you knew about, guess what? Your brain's like, "Oh, what? I didn't know that." And it's developing stuff. And just like a painting, just like if you're baking, just like if you're dancing, a dance starts off with a few footsteps, might have a few tumbles and falls, but eventually it gets fully developed. When you're writing a song, it may be empty. It may have no design to it. But as time goes on, it gets more and more developed. But honestly, though, I just want to say—
Those are great messages.
Thank you so much, Ms. Margot. I appreciate this opportunity to talk to everybody here. And you know what? It is an honor. And please, guys, when you start teaching, remember, be all inclusive. Always be all accepting. And remember, when people act a bit differently, maybe they just need a little bit more help. But honestly, thank you so much, Ms. Margot, for this opportunity. And I hope that you guys had a ton of fun.
Thanks, Aiden. Thank you so much again for allowing us all to kind of pop in as visitors. I hope you get some more likes on your YouTube channel, because I now have added my thumbs up to the page, and I hope some other teacher candidates do as well, because I think this is a great resource in general to look at how you can use these empowering motivational speeches that you and your team do to encourage students to push themselves to be able to reach for the stars. So really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, Aiden.
Oh, absolutely, guys. And seriously though, if you drop a like, it gets more people to know about our Youth Connect. And you know what? It just allows us to broaden our perspectives. And also, guys, if you want to know a little bit more about me, you can always check out my website at www.aidenlee.net. Obviously, I know, shameless plug-in here, but you know what? If you are really into painting and you want to learn more about the things that I do and the things that I create, that's fine. And if you want to be part of the programs where I do art classes, please join us, because honestly, the more art students we have, the more accepting and more inclusive we get. The more we can—
Thank you, Aiden.
All right, guys, I'm going to continue working on this painting, But you know what? I'm going to have to catch you guys later, and I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Oh, gosh. Woo. Anyways, guys, goodbye and catch you later.
Thanks, Aiden. Have a great day.